Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 3 of Don't Know Get to Know. We're a week later than we usually are, but there's a good reason for that, and it's because last week it was my 21st birthday. So I was too busy celebrating that to even think about uploading a podcast, let alone promoting it, so I thought I'd just leave it until I had a much freer week, I guess is the right term to use. But we're back today. We've got a friend of mine called Tsema. He's a great guy. I've met him a few times at footballing things and at other events at the uni here in Norwich. But I thought he'd be a great person to come on the podcast, so I brought him on. I don't want to do too much rambling on about it, so we're just going to get straight into the episode. So we'll see you there. You probably know him as the ACS president of Norwich, the best one maybe. But I'm joined today with Tsema. So if you want to introduce yourself, Tsema.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Tsema. I'm a student at the University of East Anglia. I'm no longer ACS president, but I was last year, handed over to a great candidate now. But yeah, man, thank you for having me on. Looking forward to it. I'm excited.
No worries, mate. It's great to have you. I think you're one of the first people I've had on the podcast who I don't know too well, so it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a lot for me to get to know as well as the guests. So, well, not the guests, the audience.
We haven't had too much opportunity to interact, to be honest, because I don't think we don't go to the same church in Norwich.
No, we don't.
So I ran into a couple dinner parties.
Yeah.
And other things, football as well.
Yeah, football. I think football's probably the main thing that we definitely have in common.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, I think because I was never a student either, so I don't really go to all the student events, which is probably where most paths tend to cross. I think I remember. I think it was through Asari that we sort of became friends. So there you go, Asari. There's another shout out for you. So cool. So ACS president. As I sort of mentioned, how did you find being the president for that year?
There were two sides to it. There was one part of me that absolutely just loved it. The year before I became the ACS president, I was the first year rep, and I just loved being on committee. I loved working with the other committee members. Shout out to them. Really enjoyed it. But the other side of it, hard work, stress. A lot of the times I put the ACS before my own degree, which is something that you shouldn't do. But because of how much love I had for it, that's what I ended up doing. The two teams that I worked with during my time in ACS, both when I was president and both when I was first year rep, were just amazing teams. You really get to know how people operate in that kind of professional environment, if you want to call it that. I think one thing I'm really grateful for as president this year is the team I had. Everyone was extremely hardworking. Yeah. Everyone really made the job a lot easier for me than it could have been. But just to see ACS grow and to thrive, I loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
That's good too. What did you sort of, as the president, what did you sort of have to organise and do in order to be the president? Did you have to were you just the management, keeping everything running, or did you have sort of specific stuff that you had to do?
So as the president, I was one of the one of the contact points between our society and the student union. I was in contact with them a lot. I would also kind of be the voice of the SU to the team alongside our secretary, who was Halila. It was kind of a management role, but the thing is, I'm also a really hands-on person.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be president, but at the same time, I wanted to also do my best to try and actually do hands-on jobs in every single role. So, for example, dance rep, I'd always be at ACS dance. Treasurer, who was Tariq, I'd help him with finance stuff. We'd talk about that together. Just basically finding ways that I can still be involved and not just being a supervisor role. Because I can't lie, I'm not really with that. It sounds mad to say, but I'm not really with just sitting there giving orders. and doing nothing. That doesn't really sit well with me. I'm a very hands-on person, so it is a lot of management, making sure people are doing what they need to be doing, of course,
Yeah.
scheduling meetings, putting things in place. And I did a lot of that alongside my vice president, Mary, as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, that made it a lot easier as well. So yeah, it was management, but I tried to make it hands-on as well.
Yeah, so you sort of really
Yeah,
got stuck into it, and you just went like, yeah, I guess in football terms, you weren't like one of those coaches who just does all like the admin stuff, and you were actually like out there on the
yeah,
training pitch as to
yeah,
say. That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
100%.
And how did, I guess with the first year experience, did you like sort of know after that first year this is something that I really want to do, or was it
Oh
something
yeah.
that you had like just suddenly, oh, I'm gonna go for it and then do it?
No, I'd known from quite early. So when I decided to become first year rep, that one was kind of on a whim.
Hmm.
Then from working in that initial team as the first year rep, and then watching and working with Benjamin, who was the president before me, I kind of knew this is what I want to do. This is what I
Yeah.
want to be involved in. And not to sound vain or arrogant or anything, but I think something I really take pride in for myself is my ability to lead.
Yeah.
So I just kind of figured, you know what, this is the direction that I want ACS to go in. This is the direction that I want to take it in with my team.
Hmm.
So I just kind of knew president would be for me. And I think I figured that out pretty early as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. From what I could see, everything seemed to go smoothly. I remember, I think it was Koshasai who did the panel videos on her YouTube channel, and she
Yeah.
kept on. I remember some of the bits where all the bits where, like, I think there was like a question about people like make sure you call them out and make sure they're pulling their weight. And from what I could see from you, you made sure that you were like make sure everything was running on track. And I didn't hear any bad things, so I don't know.
Yeah,
So
from my year in president, like I always say it. If not for my team, a lot of things would have just gone wrong.
yeah,
Like there were certain stuff that I couldn't I couldn't handle because it's just not my forte.
yeah,
But these guys would absolutely smash it.
it's good.
Like if I just name a couple examples, like the catering offices, the way these guys were doing shifts in their kitchen at home, Deba, Jamoye, and they even had help from one of our events officers, Sarah, and from Halila as well. These guys were on it,
Hmm.
honestly, real chefs. Some of the posters, Amanda, not even some, all of the posters that Amanda, our publicity officer, were putting out, A-star quality. Honestly, like our team was so amazing and so hardworking, and without them, can't let ACES would have crumbled.
Oh, cool. So how does the roles like sort of get assigned? Did you sort of put the team together yourself, or was that a sort of a nomination thing and a voting thing? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so it's a nomination thing. So at the end of the academic year, or rather leading up to it, so in about May time,
Hmm.
the current committee will advertise all the roles for the committee. And
Yeah.
then people who want to be on the committee for the next academic year will, if it was in person, they would come to an AGM,
Yeah.
that give their speech, and then the members would be watching the speeches and they'd vote anonymously. The way we did it, we had to kind of get people to record their speeches.
Hmm.
Then we posted it, had anonymous voting, and then from there,
Yeah.
I announced the results on Instagram Live.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Cool. So was the Instagram live sort of announcement? That was during COVID, wasn't it?
yeah, that was during COVID. I tried to make it interesting, so I didn't just go on Instagram Live and just read it out.
Yeah.
I had the numbers of all the winners, so I said, you know what I'll do is I'll call the winner
Yeah.
live on Instagram, but
Oh.
they wouldn't know the call was coming because they don't know that they've won.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
was it.
pretty cool. So how did you sort of find being the president during? Because I don't think anyone could have predicted that we'd go into a full lockdown in
Yeah.
2020. How did you sort of find like being like ACS and uni stuff and as well as COVID?
I can't lie, being in uni during COVID was tough.
Yeah.
I lacked a lot of motivation because I just felt like really like just constrained, and
Yeah.
just stuck in my room. So it was really hard to motivate myself. Um, Exams being online, lectures being online, it wasn't ideal.
No.
It wasn't ideal at all. ACS being in COVID, I can't lie, that kind of made me a bit sad. Only because we had serious plans that
Mm.
obviously went out the window because of COVID, so we couldn't pull through with them.
Yeah.
But I'm still grateful for my time in ACS, regardless.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, just from my own personal experience in lockdown, unrelated to academics or ACS or anything,
Mm.
it was a bit difficult, obviously, because I'm away from my family, but I lived with three of my very close friends.
Mm.
And even when two of them went away, I was still with my close friend Tariq, so it
Yeah.
made it easier. Virtually, I was playing Monopoly, Ludo every day. I'm telling you now,
Yeah.
Tariq and I were crackheads for this game. For Monopoly, we were addicted. We even started playing one on one. It was crazy.
Oh
It
wow.
was it was crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, if not for those outlets, it would have been a lot worse. But I
Yeah.
thank God that it wasn't too bad.
Ah, cool. Yeah, that's good to hear. That I think in my house, especially in this sort of the Christmassy lockdown, we did go a bit Monopoly mad as well. I think because we don't have a
It
board
gets like
game,
that.
we've got it on a TV, and we did sort of go a bit mental on there. I think we're playing like
It,
most nights, so it does get a bit
it,
addictive.
it gets like that. It gets like that.
The thing I want to know is what's your tactic for Monopoly? What sort of colours do you go for?
All right, listen. I know a lot of people like to look at the dark blues. Forget them. The greens, forget them. The yellows, forget them. It's that everything from the pinks to the reds. The pinks, oranges, and reds. Those are where you need to be.
Yeah,
And the oranges, if you get the oranges, just know you probably won the game
I t-
because statistically they're the most landed on properties on the board. It's the
yeah.
oranges. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. The ones that I normally try and go for, if my sister hasn't got them already, is the train stations, because
They
a lot of the like chances and other cars they say go to the nearest train station, and if you've got all four of them, that's like £400 straight
yeah,
away.
because they make you
So
pay double. They if you can get on the train station early, you can build up so much money and
yeah,
then use it for later when you actually get properties. It's crazy.
it is good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, oh, that's good to hear. So the last sort of little thing I want to touch on ACS wise is you got to compete in the president get me out of here.
Yeah.
How is how is that?
Well, obviously, I won, so that was nice. That was good. But it was not easy. It was not easy.
Was
I
it
think I
sort of
remember
was it similar to like the TV show and you had to like do all like the disgusting eating stuff, or was it like other challenges? Oh,
yeah, there
yeah,
was, yeah. Yeah. The eating rounds, all I can say is I just needed a cup of water after all of it. It was not pleasant. It was not
yeah,
pleasant, but you do what you have to do to win.
yeah.
You actually do what you have to do to win. I remember one of the rounds, I just completely lost my head and decided to do a flip on the stage in the middle of the LCR, and the
Nice.
health and safety officer almost had a heart attack. So, that was always good.
Yeah,
But yeah, I enjoyed it. A couple of my friends and fellow committee members came to watch as well, so that was a vibe. That was a serious vibe.
yeah.
So
What
yeah,
was
nah.
what was the prize for winning?
A crown,
Nice.
which I don't know if I still have it. I wish I did. It's somewhere, but yeah, it was just a crown, but
Yeah,
it was nice. I enjoyed it.
yeah. That was just before the lockdown, wasn't it? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
January.
That's probably like one of the last big things you did at uni before COVID.
Yeah, yeah. That. Well, actually, no. The last big thing before COVID was Take Me Out that we did for
Uh,
ACS.
yeah, take me out. I remember that. That's always a big thing. I sort of forgot about that. You were the host, weren't you?
Yes, me and Dava, who was one
Nice.
of our catering officers.
Yeah. Were you ever a contestant in the first year, or was that?
I was actually
Yeah.
when I was in first year, I was a surprise contestant. So
Oh,
I came,
special guest.
yeah, special guest. I came. I probably gun leaned, which is what I usually do.
Yeah.
Showcase my talent, and then I left successfully. with a date and a Nando's voucher. So that was good.
Nice. Nice. What's your go-to Nando's order?
Okay. Do you know what? It's changed recently. Before it would be 10 wings,
Hmm.
peri salted chips and rice.
Yeah.
Then I discovered the Fino Pita and I've never looked back.
I think that is quite a popular one.
I've never looked back. It's amazing. It's actually amazing. And the sad thing is, because of this lockdown, they haven't been selling it.
That's heartbreaking. I haven't had it. I think the last time I had a Nando's was in the summer when I went over that way because there's not Nando's anywhere near I live, so I can't order. So next time I make a trip over to Norwich, I will be making sure I'll try and if they've got them available now because all these restricted menus are sort of changing every week. So hopefully they're back
100%.
now. So
I need them back. I need them back.
yeah.
One of my goals this year is to go to 8 different restaurants, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Hmm.
You know, 8
Yeah.
different new restaurants I haven't been to. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So that sort of brings all the ACS questions I have for you to a close. The next sort of thing I want to ask about is your shoe business that you started. I think I remember a while ago you did this £1 giveaway. Which are you still doing that business?
So I've taken a little bit of a step back from it,
Hmm.
purely because I just going into September, I was going to a new job. Just kind of wanted to sort out my finances and financial situations first. And
Hmm.
buying and reselling shoes wouldn't have been the smart thing to do at the time. So I still very much plan on getting back into it. But I just kind of had to take a step back. You know, we just
Yeah.
have to take a step back, re-strategize,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So yeah, but yeah, I did do the giveaway. It was good. Raised
Yeah.
about £100 for them. Donated it to a company called I think it's something along the lines of the Black Youth Theatre Project, something along those lines. I can't remember the exact names, but
Yeah.
yeah, they were really grateful, and it was really good to hear from them and just hear how much they appreciated it. So yeah, thank you to everyone that donated as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
If I remember correctly, it was Gabe's who won, wasn't it?
Yes, Games, and I remember because Games entered around £5.
Yeah.
So I thought that's a decent amount, but there were other people who had entered £20. So you thought, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be them that won it.
Yeah.
And when
So
Games won it, I was shocked.
I think I misread the small. I didn't read the small print because I didn't know you could enter more than one time. So I just entered £1. I was like, oh,
Uh,
try my luck. Next thing I know, I see the wheel and there's about 50 people with the same, like 50 slots with the same now. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I've done myself dirty here. So
yeah, could enter as many times as you want. The more you enter, the more likely you were to win the shoe. But it was
yeah,
a good initiative.
yeah,
Good
definitely.
initiative.
If it's going to a good cause, then it's definitely worth doing. So,
Yeah, 100%. Just for me, it was just like everything that was happening in the summer,
mhm.
everything we saw in the news. I just thought, what can I do that I'm interested in to help contribute to just supporting
Yeah,
just black excellence? And this is what I found.
yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Well, it's quite good that it was going to a black excellence or a black cause because the next thing I've sort of got I want to ask you about is your experience at I think you spoke at a Black Lives Matter protest in
Rally.
Norwich. What was
Yeah.
that sort of like, and how did you get involved in that?
So they were holding a little rally outside. I don't actually know what
Was
I
it
think it's like the
open?
pavilion. Yeah, yeah, outside the open, in the city centre.
Hmm.
So I went to the rally, met a couple of people who I knew there, and I saw that they were inviting people up to speak. And
Yeah,
I think for me, one thing, if I'm gonna say my talent is one thing, it's speaking.
yeah,
Like, I just love talking, love speaking, public speaking, and whatnot. Um, and I felt like this was something that I had to speak on.
hmm,
I didn't feel obliged to,
hmm,
um, but I felt very strongly led to, if that makes sense.
yeah, definitely.
Um, so I went up. I spoke about my own experiences with racial issues
Hmm.
and prejudice, and even some identity issues. Because so I'm not actually from London. I'm from Kent,
Yeah,
and where I've grown up is a very predominantly Caucasian area.
yeah,
Um, so I kind of struggle to fit in some. I kind of struggled to fit in sometimes, and that led me to having some identity issues.
Yeah.
Of me actually just not wanting to be black at all. So to go from that to then being the ACS president in university, it was a very, very big contrast. So I just felt like it was important for me to just speak on that and just the unity that everyone just needs to have in terms of tackling injustice and then tackling racism.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Do you? So it wasn't a case of like, because I had thought that someone would like contact you saying, "Oh, would you like to come and speak this?" It was sort of like a, "Does anyone want to speak?" And then you went forward.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I think Aaron, OHAA, shout out to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he spoke at something similar in Norwich. But I'm not sure if it was the same situation or whether he just went forward and spoke or if he got contacted. So
I think he got contacted. And if he was, I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Not to let me not make his head too big, but Aaron is so for the in terms of black progression, black excellence, and just tackling any sort of injustice. Aaron is the guy that UEA really needed. So yeah, shout out to him, honestly.
Yeah, definitely shout out to him. I remember in the summer we did a collab for a Black Lives Matter podcast. So yeah, he's definitely one to push forward for it, and he's a great. He also knows a lot about it, because being a white person, I can only know so much that you guys have to go through. So it's good to have someone who's well educated on the issue. So cool. Well, I think we're gonna have a little break there. So we're gonna have a little break. If you're listening to this, you'll hear a nice little advert from a local business. But when we come back, we're gonna play a nice game called You Know the Drill. Which I'll get into after the break. So yeah, we shall see you in a little bit.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this podcast today to talk to you about a cake business. Now, who doesn't love cake? I love cake. Had some cake for my birthday. It was a very nice cake, although it wasn't made by the person who does this business. But today we're talking about Cake by Koshasai, and let me tell you, she does probably the best cake in Norwich that you can buy, so you better get on it. She does all sorts of flavours, all sorts of orders. You can probably get custom orders as well, and if you're not a big fan of like birthday cake, they do cupcakes as well. So yeah, I don't know. Be sure to check them out on social media. That is on Instagram at Caked by Koshasai. She does all sorts on there. She's got some great reels, and let me tell you, when you look at this cake, you would not think this is a small cake business in Norwich. You'd think this is like the best of the best. I don't know where the cake capital of the world is, but it belongs there, let me tell you. So that's all I have to say. I don't know. I think they might be currently taking orders for the future, but so make sure you get in line. But yeah, make sure you let them know we sent you. And this has been today's very poorly read ad read. But yeah, make sure you check out Cake by Koshasai on Instagram. Welcome back, everyone, to the second part of the Tsema episode. I hope you're enjoying getting to know him just as much as I am. I'm finding out some really interesting things about you. So yeah, so as we've said, we're going to get into the game of You Know the Drill. Now, if you're a fan of my podcast, you'll know that I love the game Lyric Translate, and this is basically the exact same thing, just with specific drill songs. Well, I think they're drill songs. I went on Google and typed in popular drill songs, and these are ones that came up. Okay. So Tsema, I know you're a fan of drill music from what I can see at parties and stuff. So hopefully you get full score. I think I've got 3 here. Because I like to keep it short and sweet, and we can also have a laugh at it at the same time. So the first one, are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
So before I read it, I should probably tell you what languages we've gone through this time. Okay. So we started off with English, and then we've gone to Spanish, then to Arabic, then to French, then to Italian, and then to Google's Chinese traditional. So I don't know how accurate that is, but we shall see. Then into Polish, Portuguese, Malay, Somali, and then back into English. So it could be very jumbled up, but it should make some sense as well. So yeah.
Okay.
So the first one is, well, I'm not going to read the first one because it'll give it away straight away. But it goes, I have my generation, stand in front of Ali Bally, panic and sweating. I think my boy ran back and forth. T unknown, Homerton B. My generation is me, Bally Alley. I said I would never go and would always carry my weapons. Thanks to them, we automatically send you to heaven. Oh wait, I think I read. Oh no, the last two lines there. Ignore that. It was part of the next one. So yeah.
So that's definitely Homerton B by Unknown T. I even figured it out before I heard the Homerton B in the middle.
Yeah. Which part give it away?
It was when you said there was a line to panic and something.
Panic and sweating.
Yes. So the actual line is panic and dash. So as soon as I heard that, I thought, okay, it must be Homerton B on the T.
Yeah. So the first line of that was T unknown Homerton B. I was like, straight away that's giving it away. So I thought I'd leave it out, but then I put it back in at the end. So congratulations, Tsema. You are 1 for 1 so far.
Come on.
So the next one we have lined up is bow gun, shot limits, weapons also depend on the weather. All boys and girls, move your hands and use them well. Left, right, left, right.
Oh, okay. That's Gun Lean by Russ. And I found that one funny. That's actually funny. Very coincidental.
Next time you're at a party or something, you'll when you do your gun lean, you'll be thinking of those lyrics and you'll start cracking up and be like, what's so funny?
Depends on the weather.
Weapons also depend on the weather. So yeah, cool. So that is 2 for 2. Congratulations. You could go 4 out of 4. So the next one, I read the first two lines accidentally in the Homerton B one, but it goes, I said I would never go and would always carry my weapons. Thanks to them, we automatically send you to heaven. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. Woo. Can. Oh, you feel strong. Let me see. Rux, rux. I'm pretty sure that was what.
Okay, is that Pop Smoke?
You're on the right lines.
Is that Dior by Pop Smoke?
It is indeed. Yeah. It's not the chorus because there was a few words in the chorus that I could not say. So I thought I'd go for the one after that, but that is Dior Pop Smoke. So yeah, 3 for 3.
What gave it away? It was the send to heaven.
Yeah.
And the repeated of yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay.
Woo. Yeah. It's 3 for 3. Okay. And then we've got the final one. Avoid food. Touch my watch. Why did you die? Hey, open your mouth and let me eat you. You left and right raise. I don't know. I didn't know when they asked you in the interrogation room.
Okay, so that's I Don't Know by Tion Wayne.
Congratulations, you've gone 4 for 4.
As expected. I was actually my Song of the Year last year.
Was it?
Yeah. So what is this the thing where like you've translated it from English to one language, then translated it from that language to another language?
Yep.
Wow.
You got it. Yeah, it took. That's why I was a bit late in starting this because I was like, oh crap, I haven't done this. I need to translate all these languages. So yeah,
that's interesting. I'm definitely going to use that for something, and I'll give you the creds.
Yeah, thank you very much. Shout out the podcast. No, so yeah, cool. Right, let's get back into the episode about you. I've got a few more things to hit off the list before we carry on with our days. So football. Now I've seen you play, and you're very good. In my eyes, anyway. That's because I'm not very good. I think we've only played a few times, but I think the last time I played football was actually with you at UEA.
At UEA.
Yeah, just before we went into lockdown the first time.
I'm not sure if I played since then either.
Yeah, I think it was good. That was good fun though. I was probably because that was the church group that I'd sort of organised over. Well, we used to do it ages ago, but then I brought it back, and I think was it Demi? Demi invited you along,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you just like sort of brought all the numbers up. I was like, oh wow, this is good. That was very good. What sort of when did you start playing football?
I can't lie, I don't play football.
Oh, don't you?
No, I don't play football. I actually play. I used to play rugby for like 8, 7 years, but I don't actually play football. Football is just a recreational thing.
Right, it made me
I don't
feel
actually.
bad now. Football's like my main sport, and you had me in your
No,
pocket.
Joy is football. Is the main sport that I watch, but in terms of playing,
Yeah.
no, it's not even, that's not my main sport. Main sport all the time was rugby. Um, yeah, I think that's just because if you feel a competitive nature
Hmm.
with the requirements to be on a rugby pitch, it's a very interesting combination, very
Yeah.
dangerous combination. AKA people get hurt. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you could say why I like that.
Yeah. Very true. So what team do you support then?
I'm not sure if I want to mention that, but
I mean, I support West Brom, so you can't get much worse than that.
okay, that's a good point. Actually, it's actually funny you say you support West Brom because you guys were absolutely destroying us until we made a comeback in
Oh,
the
so you're a
second
Chelsea
half.
fan?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
Yeah.
Chelsea fan. That must have been heartbreaking for you, innit?
It was, but it was to be. I mean, who'd have thought we'd have been 3-0 up? So I'm content with it. I knew you guys would come out in the second half and put three past us. Even I thought you'd put four past us, but just the way that happened at the last 5 minutes was heartbreaking. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Well,
tough. Do you think you'll stay up?
no. I mean, today's the day. We're playing against Fulham, so when this goes live, it will happen by now. So if we lose today, then I reckon we'll go down.
Ah,
So yeah, it's a bit peak, and then we've got Sheffield United in our next game. So if we lose that as well, then we'll definitely be going. So so it's not very fun at the minute with Big Sam, but yeah. What do you make of Frank Lampard leaving?
okay. Lampard's a Chelsea legend. Like, don't get me wrong, I love him. But he's just a bit too inexperienced.
Yeah.
Like he's inexperienced, and I think he kind of lacked tactical prowess to really propel Chelsea to where they need to be.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, he did an amazing job last season. Really, really well job considering the conditions we were in. Transfer then, our best player going to Real Madrid,
Hmm.
but this season it's just not been good enough.
Yeah.
And the Chelsea history. If you have like 5 months of bad form, you're out. Like
Yeah.
you're gone. So it just hasn't been good enough. He didn't utilize our new signings well. Obviously, I understand they still need time to adjust, but
Mm.
the system he was using while those guys were playing, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think he signed too many players in that one window?
No, I don't think he signed too many players. I think everyone that he signed was needed. Thiago Silva, world class defender, one of the best in the world. We needed that at the back.
Mm.
Edouard Mendy. At this point, I would take anyone in goal over Kepa.
Yeah.
Anyone. Chilwell, 100%. Alonso just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
Wasn't cutting it. Our attack has really needed bolstering. Willian left. We've brought in Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, Havertz. Now, all three of them are still to live up to
The
their
hype.
the hype. I'll be very real, especially Timo Werner. Especially the
Yeah.
compilations I've watched on Twitter, Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just not it.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. The one thing I would say is he does make a lot of positive runs, and he won like loads of penalties in his first few games. So
hmm
I think if is it Jorginho, the penalty taker, if he'd have scored a few of those more penalties, then the conversation could have changed. But at the minute, he is a bit of a flop.
Yeah, it doesn't help that he's missed so many open goals as well.
Yeah, I think was it the Leeds one where he sort of stopped it from going in, and then hit the crossbar.
hmm He
Yeah.
was going in, he stopped it, kicked it off the crossbar instead of putting it into the back of the net.
Yeah, it's like was it Choupo-Moting who did that for PSG a couple of seasons, last season I think.
I don't even remember. I haven't really watched PSG like that, but
Oh, fair
PSG
enough.
managers, the PSG's managers with us
Oh
now,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
excited.
Tuchel. Yeah, it should be pretty good. I can't remember who you've got in the next few games, but hopefully you can get some run of form, because one of my best mates is a Chelsea fan, and as much as I enjoyed messaging him at half time against West Brom, um, it's nice to see like your friends, especially like your close friends clubs, see them do well. So hopefully you do get a run of games. Yeah, so that sort of, I am quite surprised that football's not your main sport, because you are quite good at it. But rugby's the one.
Yeah.
Do you
I can't really relate to you on the one in my friends' clubs to do well, because all of my friends' clubs are
Oh yeah.
clubs that rival Chelsea. So
Yeah,
I want
that
to.
is very true. When you're a West Brom fan, no, like as long as Wolves are losing, you're happy.
Yeah,
So you don't mind with what happens in the top six, because it doesn't affect you at all.
so true.
But I mean, there's clubs that I don't want to support, and it is always fun when West Brom like get a result of them. Like when we drew against Liverpool, straight away I was messaging Asari and Josh. Like I think sometimes I was like, "You're so bad, you can't even beat West Brom when they're top of the league at the time." So
You're mocking it.
I am. You got to take all the wins you can as a West Brom fan. So
That's true. It's actually true.
I remember when I had Josh on my old podcast, Pizza Time, he was saying, "Oh, we'll beat you next time, we'll smash you," and I was like, "Oh, we'll come and see." So he was the first one to tick off the list of gloating
The
to.
message.
Yeah,
Nah, I hear it. I think I remember yesterday. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Man U lost to Sheffield.
yeah,
Sheffield were obviously bottom of the league, so there were a couple of Man U fans who were not hearing the end of that one.
yeah.
But at the same
No,
time, had to relax a bit because we're not really in the best position right now. So
exactly. If you were up there, then full throttle. But when you're down there, you got to steady yourself, because you know it'll
yeah,
come straight back to you.
keep it a little bit humble with just a slight bit of gloating.
Yeah, that's the way forward. Keep it Christian, is what I
Of
say.
course, of course, of course. Keep it Christian all the time.
Yeah, cool. So that's sort of all the football stuff I wanted to talk about. Just out of curiosity, do you play for a rugby team, or is that just sort of when you can play, you'll play?
I was playing for. I've only played for institutions I'm part of, aka secondary school
Hmm.
and UEA. But obviously, because I've been out of sport because of the lockdown. Haven't played in a while, and I don't think I'll be going back to rugby next year.
Yeah,
I might try something different, but as for rugby, I think I'm just gonna retire now. It's been fun, but
yeah.
just retire.
Oh, well, there's a full-fledged career. Hold all
Yeah,
your accolades.
many
um,
tries,
yeah.
but we're
What
done.
what sort of role did you have in rugby? Were you the I don't really know rugby positions, but were you the main try guy, or were you like the big tackler?
I was so the main positions I played were winger and fullback. So winger, I basically stand on the edge of the pitch,
Yeah.
and as they pass the ball down the line, I'm the last person it would get to. So it'd be
Hmm.
my job. So when I get it, I don't really have to pass anyone. It's run and avoid being tackled.
Yeah.
So I think that's just because of I'm quite a fast runner as well. So
Yeah.
that was because of that. Fullback, I'm like the last defense. So
Hmm.
if they break through the line, there's no one. If they get past me, that's it. They're through. It's like
Yeah.
being on. It's like being through on goal.
Hmm.
You know. So yeah, that
Ah,
was that was
interesting.
me.
Cool. Well, so the next sort of thing I wanted to talk about is, I know that obviously we've talked about ACS, but I know you got involved in, I think it was Pensa a little bit, and you joined their choir, if I'm correct in
Yeah, I
speaking.
did.
So I remember seeing your Instagram post. I think you're saying it was like really like outside of your comfort zone, doing something like that. How did you find like being like pushing yourself to something that you wouldn't really necessarily do?
I can't lie. It took. I was thinking about it for a while.
Hmm.
I just wasn't sure because singing is not my thing. Like, it's not my talent. It's not my thing. But
Yeah.
I just I thought if I'm gonna push myself to do more for the kingdom,
Hmm.
this is a good place to start. So and it really helped that members of the Pensa committee, such as I think the main one I want to mention is Millie Frimpong, who's the current president, but she was the former vice president. Um, she was because she was the head of choir. When I told her that I was thinking about it, she was really all for it.
Yeah.
Really, really welcoming, really accommodating. Even going there to do practice, knowing me that my singing voice is not the best, and I was the only guy, I didn't feel a single sense of judgment from anyone.
Yeah.
If anything, people really help me to improve,
Mm.
and it was a really big boundary that I broke, and I'm so happy I did it.
Yeah.
So happy I did it.
That was probably like one of the last it's definitely one of the last events I went to before lockdown. So it's sort of good that you managed to do it in a way, because otherwise we might not be able to have this conversation. It's not something I can imagine was available to do online. So
Yeah,
it's quite good.
no,
Is
it
that
was an amazing event.
if that yeah, it definitely was. And shout out to El Trippo as well for bringing the food
Yeah.
afterwards.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, no, that was really good. That was like, I don't really go to a lot of uni stuff, but I try to when it's my friends running it. And
Yeah.
I remember it was great, and then the African praise came on, and I just did not know what to do because I didn't know any of the songs. So I think if Asari was like filming it, if he was like on his phone, just like recording it, and everyone's like dancing and having a great time, and I'm just stood there like I have no idea what to do.
You just vibe. You just
Yeah.
vibe. I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
was
I
good
you
fun.
just vibe.
It was very good. Yeah, I wish I'd vibed a bit more harder, but I was so like, what? And I remember looking back at a few rows to where my other friends were, and they were just laughing at me because they saw how frozen I was. So yeah, it was very good. Do you think if the opportunity to be in the choir happens again, do you think you'll do it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I might not do it every single time,
Mhm.
but every once in a while, definitely.
Yeah. Are you going to try and recruit a few more guys as well?
I'll try, but you know how guys are.
I do, all too well.
I mean, one guy I know I can rely on most of the time is Gabe's.
Yeah.
But Gabe's can sing.
Yeah.
Gabe can sing. Seriously, you know. But yeah,
Yeah. He's quite good at piano as well, if I remember correctly.
Gabe's is a very talented guy. And the way he speaks, and his piano playing skills, and his singing, his spoken word. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Seriously talented guy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of spoken words, you just released one on Instagram recently.
I did. I did.
How
I did.
how did you sort of get into doing spoken words?
So I started doing spoken word when I was 17,
Hmm.
and it was really, really on a whim. So I was part of the youth in my church, and there was a service coming up where they wanted people to perform, sing, or whatever. And I said, you know what? Let me do spoken word, because I
Hmm.
saw a woman do it, and I thought this could be something that I'm good at. So I wrote that spoken word piece. It went down really well with the church. Um, that was my first one. It's called "I'm Not Finished Yet,"
Hmm.
aka I'm not done talking about God.
Yeah.
Um, and then went to went to uni, and I still enjoyed it. Like the love was still there. So I wrote another one
Hmm.
called Statistic. Went to an RY conference, wrote another one called Tag Team.
Hmm.
And then I think I took kind of a long break and didn't write one for a while. Then Pemsa came, wrote a piece called Fantasy,
Hmm.
and then haven't wrote one since then, and I wrote that in about March or something.
Hmm.
And then recently I've been really in touch with the grace gospel. So just learning about God's grace, His forgiveness, how there's no condemnation in Christ, etc., etc. And that inspired me to write my piece that I released very recently called What's It Called.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it's been an interesting journey. A lot of it is just I'm just writing on a whim because I feel led to write. So I
Yeah.
just go and write. But thank God they all turn out well, and I enjoy
Yeah.
performing it, enjoy videoing it.
Yeah. Would you say that's sort of like one of the main? I don't know how to phrase this, but so that's like you're like one of the main hobbies that you have is spoken
Yeah,
words.
I'd definitely say it's one of the main hobbies. I think it's just something that I just need to be more consistent with.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
100% one of my main hobbies.
Yeah. Is it one of the? Would you say one of the like more creative things you do?
Yeah. Um, I'm a very mathsy person, so I think a lot in numbers, but not a lot in terms of creativity and artistic expression. So this is probably the most creative thing I do,
Hmm.
to be honest. Yeah,
That's good. Are you planning to release any more?
100%, hundred
Yeah.
percent. I want to be more consistent with it this year. I just need to just just write more,
Yeah.
write more, release more.
Cool. Well, that's good. I think I've got one more thing I want to talk to you about, and that is dancing. Because from what I can see, you're a very talented dancer, even if it's like not professionally or anything. But how did you sort of get into dance?
Um, I have to shout out my dance rep from when I was ACS president, and the one from when I was first year rep, Kelly
Yeah,
and Chris. Those two were leading ACS dance sessions. I would come through, and they would just, yeah, they just made it fun, made it enjoyable. Again, no judgment, but just help.
yeah,
I worked a lot with Chris last year. He even had me, like move front and center for certain dances. I was like, I don't think I want to do that, bro. But
yeah.
he believed in me, and I enjoy it. Then one of my boys, Sean,
Hmm.
um, him and I, we were housemates, and we just because both of us started kind of learning how to dance around a similar time.
Yeah,
So whenever there were any dance challenges released, we just do it together because just why not? It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to do with your boy, isn't it?
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
that was really good, really vibesy, and I don't dance professionally, but for fun, I'm there.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
there. I'm there.
I can't remember whose like Instagram story it was, but I remember or what song it was. But I think you were at like a party or student night at I can't remember what it's called, LCR, and it
Oh
came
yeah,
on, and everyone just like parted ways, and you were just in the middle doing the dance. I was like, oh,
yeah.
this guy's
That's
good.
yeah. I'm probably the guy that you'll find in the middle. If not, then I'm jumping somewhere or I'm
Yeah,
resting. One of the two.
yeah, cool. Well, that sort of brings all the questions and stuff I wanted to talk to you about today to a close. Is there anything you wanted to either talk about or promote whilst you're here?
Yeah, just a couple cheeky little plugs if that's all right.
Go for it.
So I'm currently wearing my boy Tariq's clothing brand. It's called First Gods. So
Yeah,
you guys make sure you check that out. Then if you can see the design on the back, top
it's
quality,
good.
very nice clothing. The pictures on the website were actually taken by my other boy, Sean.
Nice.
He does photography, so Sontanography. That's on Instagram as well. So go check that out. My friend Amanda, she releases cosmetics, MAO Cosmetics. So again, go
Hmm.
check that out. So yeah,
Cool. Very good. Anything of yours you want to plug? I'll make sure everything you've said
uh,
is in the links
uh,
below. But if you've got anything else you wanted to plug, your social media page or anything.
well, nothing as of yet. But if you like my style, like my vibe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter _Shems. So
No.
yeah,
Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Shema. It's been great
thank you for
talking to
having me.
you. No worries. Hopefully, maybe one day in the future we'll get you back on for a Don't Know Get to Know too.
100%. And let's have some pizza there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can do them in person again. In that case, I will
Hopefully,
get some pizza because that was the reason why I
hopefully,
stopped pizza times because I couldn't get the pizzas in a consistent level.
yeah,
So yeah.
that makes sense.
Cool. Well, make sure you
Yeah,
go follow Shema on Instagram and Twitter and check out all of his other things he's promoted. Um, if you like our stuff, check out or make sure you follow this page and the YouTube channel to keep up to date with content. And you can check out the merch store as well. All the links will be in the description below. So thanks again, Shema, for coming on.
thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time.